from our respective homes because, of course, we're still in quarantine. Everything's still locked down. Can't do brewery. Nothing about it. So we are still drinking local beverages. And I say beverages because I know you three are drinking beers, but I am not. So, David, what are you drinking?
So I've got the Blacklist Cray Hazy. Blacklist is in Duluth. It is a great New England style IPA. It's 8%, so it's got a little kick to it. In our first attempt at this recording, I mentioned how the first time I drank this, I was not eating anything that day, and I quickly downed it, and I realized, woof, that was a heavy beer. It's really good, not crazy hoppy. It's a little juicy, but not over the top if you're not a big juicy fan. I think it's really good. Really great product.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned Blacklist from Duluth. Is that new to stores around here in the metro area at least?
So I don't know that I've seen it outside of the last maybe, I don't know, 5-6 months. This is the first 4-pack I ever bought of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's funny because when you mentioned you had bought that, another friend of mine had just said, "Oh, I saw this new beer in the store and I decided to try it." I'm like, "Oh, what is it? Blacklist?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Because I mean, the brewery might have been around for a while, but it's the first I've seen it around here, I guess.
I'm not trying to one-up you because when David texted this message, I was saying back when I lived in Rockford, which was over 6 years ago, the Blacklist was in stores, but it was only in the 750 bottles. They weren't in cans yet. So I think I picked up a couple of them back then, and it was good stuff. But of course, their selection was they had like to get 2 things. That was it. One was a farmhouse ale because it was all like the stuff from Europe type of thing, and I think another one was a black cherry, maybe what you're drinking right now, David. But it was in 750 milliliter bottles because I think craft brewing really hadn't started. I mean, we had Surly, we had Summit, but they just started to come out. So
okay. Well, you're a one-upper then. You are trying to be a one-upper.
I'm not a one-upper.
But you know what? That's okay.
It's been around for a while.
It's always one of those things. You don't need the qualifier. We know what's coming. I don't want to one-up you, but
I'm not trying to one-up anybody.
But I will say this. I think it's great in the sense that now we have just another reason, another excuse, not that we need one, to maybe venture up north in Minnesota later on in the summer or the fall and do a podcast in Duluth.
Well, now I've been thinking about this, and it's not going to happen this year because of the coronavirus and all this bullshit. But next summer, what I was thinking is they do have a minor league soccer team up there.
Is it Duluth FC?
Duluth FC. Exactly right. So could we not go to a Duluth FC game and go to a couple breweries? I mean, come on.
Yeah, like I said,
we could go to Blacklist up there before the game and do some axe throwing before the game. So
yeah, I don't know about that. I don't want to do an axe throwing.
For those who didn't hear us in the first try, they do axe throwing in the back of Blacklist Brewing.
Yeah.
Kind of
which, like I said, is, I don't know, at a brewery, come on, that's kind of a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah.
Get a little drunk.
I've thrown after drinking.
I've thrown at a hatchet. I have never actually thrown a full-size axe, but I've thrown hatchets, and I just wonder how the two compare because I've seen some bad videos on YouTube of axes bouncing all the way back, and I feel like I've got the hatchet down after a couple cold ones, but I'm not sure I could handle the axe. I just don't know. First time for everything.
I've thrown a shoe.
I mean, that's very disrespectful.
I've thrown a dart
in some cultures.
Yeah, I've thrown darts with drinking.
Connor, I think you're drinking. Let me think here. Uda Pills, aren't you? Yes.
Oh
Uda
my
Pills.
Goodness, you got it.
Know. It's like I have deja vu.
Do that?
It's weird.
A small fraction of the can, and you knew what he was drinking. That's impressive.
Or it's like we did this before. It's like weird.
Right,
right?
yeah.
I know, it's so weird. But it's you're very perceptive. Uda Pills, Tall Tales American IPA, and it's great. This is the first time I've ever had it, and it's 6.8% alcohol, and it kind of reminds me of the whole West Coast IPA vibe. and I love the West Coast style of IPAs. So this is right up my alley here.
There you go. See, guys, I got that ESPN. See, ESPN.
The ESPN.
I have that. Dave, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Old One Eye Strawberry Edition, and I think some of you have had this before. But basically, this is from Insight Brewing, where we recorded our last brewery podcast. But I didn't have the Old One Eye when I was there, and so I thought this would be a good chance to try it. And it is delicious. And the Strawberry Edition is perfect because it's not too fruity, it's not overwhelming, but it's just extremely refreshing. It's a good spring summer beer, easy drinking. I think I mentioned last podcast that I did not have the Imperial Stout from 10K Brewing that I was planning on having because that was 10.6. But the beers that I was drinking, they were in the 7 to 8 range. And recording at noon with no breakfast, they kind of hit me a little harder than I thought. So I went with more of a crushable, blonde ale from Insight, and I am not disappointed.
Good stuff, man. You guys all have beers. I finished mine because we already did this once. I finished mine from the vodka from Skulvin in Brooklyn Park, of course.
I was going to say before that artwork on the bottle looks a lot like the artwork from Steven's can over there. Do they get the same?
A little bit. They might have the same
artwork.
cartoonist. Yeah, the same cartoonist, maybe. I don't know. It looks a little the same.
It does. Well, it's very Minnesotan. I give it that.
So they're, of course, a local distillery. They not only have vodka, they've got Akavy. I think they have gin, some other stuff. But this wheat they use is locally grown wheat, so it's good stuff. But because I'm done with that now, guys, I can switch on to what I picked up from Omni the other day.
Oh, you're going to drink that, huh?
This, boys and girls, is the Garv sauce. Mitch Garver, the Minnesota Twins. Collaboration. Now, difference between this Garv sauce and any others, there's only 100 of these made of this one. He signed these. He signed 100 of them. I was lucky enough to grab one of the 100. They were gone within I think 15 minutes is what they told me. So I got the signed Garv sauce. It is a cerveza because Garver is Mitch is from, I think, New Mexico or something like that. So it's a Mexican lager in collaboration with Mitch Garver, Garv sauce. To honor Mitch's New Mexico roots, we use Comet hops that have Neo-Mexicanus lineage but come of age in Minnesota, kind of like Garv sauce at Mighty Axe Hop Farms. Play ball. So I'm going to drink that action.
And I got to say, you're lucky, Tony. I mean, you mentioned to a few of us when you bought that. Was it Tuesday earlier this week? And you had mentioned in a group text, and I actually went, to Omni's website to try and get myself one of those as well, the autograph version. And sadly, it was, I think you texted us, and shortly thereafter, maybe a half hour after I went online, and nope, they were all sold out. I think they only had 100 of them available. So
it did, and the proceeds, they were an extra couple bucks to get the signed one. Proceeds from the signed ones went to a Minnesota COVID Relief Fund, which, is for charity. And they limited it to one per person, so you couldn't go and grab 10 of them, try to sell them. But it's a good cause, and we're Omni fans because we did our first podcast at a brewery at Omni, and we've done numerous podcasts at Omni before, and those guys are great. They are, to tell you the truth, those guys are going gangbusters. They're selling a lot out of their store. They've got a whole nice way to get in and get out. They're doing delivery within 5 miles. And of course they're selling in stores, so they're doing a great thing right now. So Garv sauce, Mexican lager. Let me try it here.
I am 0.9 miles outside of their delivery.
I know. You know what's funny, Sterling, is I wanted them delivered to my work because I'm actually going to the office most days. I'm at 5.1 miles away from their damn place. But it doesn't matter because it's on my way home anyway. So.
Yeah.
So, Tony, it looks like you had a nice head on that beer, but so for those of us that can't get the autograph version, is it still worth our time to go up there, even if we're outside of the delivery zone, to get a non-autograph version? So.
It's a Mexican style beer. It's like a Corona.
Bud Light Lime. I don't.
No, not like Bud Light.
I stay away.
Modelo, maybe.
Like a Modelo, yeah.
I stay away from the Corona. I try and I go with Bud Light Lime now.
It's not really. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. 5.2%. So it's a drinker. Yeah. And of course, they did come out with it it was Cinco de Mayo. This was the day it came out, was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, very cool.
Tuesday. It was. And Cinco de Mayo, that was Taco Tuesday as well. So, I mean,
yes.
It was.
That's right. Yeah.
And we could maybe point out that the current virus that has placed us in home is
the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's why I think I made that little quip about I try and avoid Corona. I like the Bud Light Lime. But, of course, I was doing that all in jest, of course.
Well, it's, and again, this is the second time I purchased 3 Crowlers from Omni. And this time I did put a tip in there, and I put a little message saying, hey, cheers from the Loonacy podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll get back out there at some point. Just like every other brewery we've been to. I mean, we want to get back out there at some point. So I do want to talk a little bit about breweries because I know we had talked about it in the first time we did this. Breweries right now are, they're having problems. A lot of them are having issues. I know Invictus is having some issues right now with their sales and stuff. What people don't understand is not only do they sell in their breweries, they sell to restaurants, which right now are not doing anything. And they also some of them do distribution to liquor stores. Well, in liquor stores, people aren't buying the local breweries because it's more expensive. They're buying the low-cost brands, the Michelob Lights, the Coors Lights, the Schlitzes, the Busch Lights, that type of stuff. So they're getting hit in many different places. So the Minnesota State Legislature is going to put a bill out here shortly that's going to allow breweries to sell 6-packs and 4-packs in their breweries. A lot of these breweries are already doing 6-packs and 4-packs. They can't sell it in their brewery because of stupid laws. They wanted to get it passed when restaurants were allowed to sell 6-packs and bottles of wine, but it didn't get passed that time. So they're trying to get it passed this time. So if you're listening to this podcast, call your legislator. I've already called mine and said, hey, vote for this. Let our breweries sell whatever the heck they want to. Put a time limit on it. I don't care. When things go back to normal, you can go back to your archaic ways of doing liquor sales in this state. But at least let the breweries sell all their beers because breweries are dumping their beers right now, left and right. And this podcast would not be around the way it is now without local breweries because we do our podcasts at local breweries and we love to do it out there. They're great hosts. We get some people out there. We market their beers. This podcast wouldn't be around the way it is without local breweries. So get out there and tell people you want them to be able to sell those beers in their breweries.
And you think about it from a waste perspective. Every time they dump beer, think about how much waste was created. I mean, all that water that went into doing the beer, all of that grain, all the hops. That's a lot of money that just went right down the drain.
Yep.
Going nowhere.
And I mean, there's far less toxic things out there than beer, but I mean, it is an environmental concern as well. I mean, and so if they can avoid doing that, they should because and Tony, you mentioned it. I mean, hopefully, if there's good, and there will be, let's say good things to come of this pandemic, ways that we can evolve and get better as a society. Maybe those archaic laws that you mentioned will be one of those things that kind of get pushed aside for forever. So
I hope so. I hope so because our laws here, I know I've seen on Twitter and Facebook, people are like, I came to Minnesota for vacation and I saw their archaic freaking brewery and beer laws. I'm like, in Colorado, we don't have to do this shit. They can sell whatever the heck they want to. It's no big deal.
I think Minnesota might be the only state where you can't buy beer in a grocery store. Colorado used to be the same way.
Yep.
But
you're right.
Colorado has since changed their law. I think either early this year or late last year, they've changed the law. So we're getting, at least we now have Sunday sales, but we're still lagging behind most of the country.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Very different, yeah.
So on that, let's get off that sad note. And again, I want everybody listening to this, support your local breweries. I know a lot of you are. I know we are. But get out there, buy a 3-pack of Crowlers from a brewery every week or every 2 weeks. Get out there, tell them you appreciate them. give them some love, because when they open back up, if they open back up, it's because of what we're doing right now. So do that for those breweries. But let's move on to some sports talk, guys, because the Bundesliga has opened back up. Well, we'll be opening up here in about a week, I think. Yep. So they are one of the first sports leagues in the world to open back up. I know this Korean baseball league has opened back up. So the Bundesliga has opened back up. And we got to now talk about John Andruski, because he's German and he loves the Bundesliga. So there's this mention for the day. But when this opens up, this will kind of be a litmus test of how other major leagues can open up. I mean, South Korea has already done with that with baseball, and you've seen how that's been going, and it's been going pretty well. Now the Bundesliga is going to open up, and La Liga in France, I think, is opening up in June. So we have some leagues to kind of look at to see how things in the United States can happen when they decide to open up.
Yeah, and they've kind of, the Bundesliga, I think they've played, a majority of the teams have played 25 matches. There's a couple that have played 24. They have 34 games in their season. So they only have, 9, in most cases, 9 matches left to play. It's in some cases a little bit more than that. But so, I mean, I think that they're kind of, they want to, I don't know if, at least they have a smaller window to finish their season and maybe it makes it easier for them. I think, unfortunately for John, for Eintracht Frankfurt, this might be a season he wishes they could forget. They're sitting way down in 12th currently, but at least they're safe from relegation at the moment. So,
and I was going to wear my Dortmund jersey. However, COVID-19 had other thoughts, and I have apparently grown out of that jersey over the last 2 months.
Whoops.
Which is disheartening for myself. So I did not wear it, and then I was going to bring it down and at least show it, and then I forgot to.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're pumping the Bundesliga, and we should. I mean, we're excited to have hopefully live soccer come back to us. I know, Korean baseball. I've watched a couple matches already.
I have, yeah.
Replays. I haven't gotten up at 1 a.m. to watch live, but it's ESPN. ESPN actually did a great job. I mean, they were broadcasting these matches live at 1 a.m.
Yep.
Fortunately, they showed a replay. They'll show replays in the afternoon, at least a couple games that I watched. And but it's just fun to see. It's fun to watch. Like I mentioned last podcast, it was nice to get out on the golf course. And like this week, it was just nice to see some live sports. And I think, as we sit here a week from today, if we can watch a live soccer match, it's just thrilling. Actually, it's little steps, but it's a step.
Right,
it'll be nice.
Normalcy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Feel good.
So Bundesliga starts here in a week, and now we have some rumors, of course, for American sports, United States. Some big rumors coming out of the NBA and MLB. NHL, I think, is just going to shut down. I don't think they're going to have a plan. They really can't have a plan because they require ice time and all the other stuff. And that's kind of, that throws a kind of wrench in the whole gears of their works. But MLB is proposing to start on July 1st, which, David, I think we talked about this before in terms of teams, United States starting around July 4th.
Yeah,
Independence Day, doing that whole thing.
Yep.
So MLB has said they're starting July 1st. Their whole deal is they want to play games in their own stadiums. They have to get approval from the governors to allow them to do that without fans, of course. And, of course, they're going to have some sort of plan about travel and who's in there, who's out, all that type of stuff. So they're working on that. The craziest one that I've seen is the NBA, because their proposal is to play at Disney World. Have every team in the league stay at Disney World because Disney World is closed. Stay there. ESPN already has a whole area there with basketball courts that's set up for live TV because they've televised things before. And to play the rest of their games and the playoffs at Disney World in kind of a Disney World type of bubble.
And it's ESPN Wide World of Sports. I've actually never gone there, but I've heard of it, and it's a big facility. They broadcast some of their Sports Center specials there, previewing events and whatnot. I also heard that they were considering 2 venues, both Florida in Orlando there and Las Vegas as well, because obviously they have the infrastructure in Las Vegas because of their G League.
They do.
developmental league.
I don't think they want to do Vegas because it's Sin City. I don't think they want to have that out there. They have to be very careful about when these leagues start, they have to be very careful about what they're showing here. Showing your league in Orlando at the Magic Kingdom is, happy days.
Yeah.
Showing it in Las Vegas is like strippers and gambling.
Well, Las Vegas is, they now have an NHL franchise there. They're going to have an NFL team there.
They do, yes.
Also, they're kind of evolving in that sense, but
it's where you start from right now, because I'm telling you, people are going to be pissed off no matter when these leagues start.
I will, I will say, and like Tony is a good point, and it's an interesting point, and the reason the NBA seems to have a much more pessimistic view compared to, say, MLS and Major League Baseball, and maybe that's because of the sport. Maybe it's because of the close contact, physical sweating, up and down that court nature of the game. But they're very pessimistic, and they mentioned things. They had a conference call with all the players and the commissioner, and some of the biggest concerns was about traveling. They play a game in a city, and then the next night they'll play in a different city Right. So they are a little bit concerned about the travel across the country, back and forth, literally, where at least sports like MLS, you're talking weekly travel, maybe, maybe a couple games a match, or even with Major League Baseball, at least you're set up for 3 or 4 days in one city at a time. But that's right. Travel does bring a little more complication into it, because you can't contain, you can't control everything as easy. And that's why I think the NBA is going down that path of maybe thinking about it in 2 locations. It's weird to think about, but I don't know. And I don't think they know. They don't know. And I don't think they're very optimistic about that plan. They're just thinking about a plan.
Yep. But they have to, because at some point they either have to say, we're going to continue the season and go into the playoffs, or we're going to cancel the whole season. There's a point here. I know they talked about pushing it back until October, November, that type of thing. But how far can you push some of these leagues back?
Yeah. Well, exactly. There's pressure from fans to get started again. There's pressure from the ownership, I'm sure. You're talking about huge financial losses. We probably can't even comprehend the money that these teams are losing, and the league itself. But then again, like you said, I think the calendar is going to put pressure on these teams as well, because before you know it, you're going to be talking about next season, not this season, but next season. So the calendar is actually going to put more pressure to get the season started than anything else.
Let's switch to MLS, because we've heard rumors from all these different leagues in the United States. NFL is going forward like there's no coronavirus whatsoever. Yeah. They're pretty much, they've said, we have a schedule for next year. They came out with it on Friday. If they have to cancel some games, they cancel some games, but they're going forward like they're a steamroller, and they don't give a shit about coronavirus anyways. MLS has been the only major league in the United States that hasn't really had any rumors yet. We do have the fact that they have started some individual workouts in certain cities. They're allowed to do that.
Yep.
But not every team is doing it, and we have heard nothing about what their plans are if they're going to continue the season. So my question is, when is it going to happen, and why are we not seeing any rumors about it?
The date right now is still June 8th, but I don't think that's going to happen, just because of all the preparation that has to go into the games, and it's just not realistic right now.
Yeah, and for context, so that June 8th, date that Connor threw out there, that has not changed since the last update from MLS, which was on April 17th. Yeah. So we're at least talking 3.5 weeks ago, and that has not changed. So, not all the clubs haven't returned to training, because of local regulations and whatnot. But I did actually
based on what we're seeing though, across the country, I've been paying really close attention to the political side of it. I think that June 8th is still a pretty quote unquote healthy expectation to return because most of the states are really starting to open up. I mean, even here in Minnesota, where we don't really know what we're doing. They're still making motions to open up. They're set still on May 18th as the return as opening. That may be pushed out. I think it will be until Memorial Day. But I think that overall, most states are kind of starting to move in that general direction of opening up fully. I don't think that means we're going to see fans in the stands, but I think it's going to be a point where you're going to see the states allow games with empty stadiums. Yeah. And I think it speaks volumes to the lack of pull MLS has. I mean, like Tony, you said the NFL is going on like nothing's ever happened because they can. They're massive.
They have the luxury. Their first game isn't until like September 8th. So they're still 4 months out.
But the thing is there's such a huge economic pull for NFL that I think governments will crumble to just allow them to do what they need to do.
That's right.
I think
MLS doesn't have that.
It just no one cares about MLS.
No, MLS doesn't have that. And the other thing too is I don't think we will see. I mean, I think you guys all agree with me here. I don't think we're going to see MLS games this year with fans in the stands at all.
No.
Why not?
Because you're going to have states that are going to say, okay, we're cool with you having fans in the stands. And we're going to have other states who are going to say, I mean, let's take an example of Minnesota. We have Timmy Walls, who's got his little dials. His little dials turn up and down depending on what's going on, right? And the last part of the dial is big sporting events and concerts.
Yep.
Do you think he's going to turn that dial all the way up by the time the season is wrapping up? Hell no.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he had a light switch, even if you just switched it back on, I mean, yeah, that's a good point because let's say it would be an unfair advantage, even if conditions here in Minnesota say we're better than New York, of course. But it's an unfair advantage if New York is traveling here, has to play in front of an audience, fans, whether that's a half full stadium or what. But then say when Minnesota traveled to New York, if they have, if they play in an empty stadium, that's an unfair competitive advantage.
You almost have to say we're going to go through the season without fans. Unless things change across the country, we're going to have no fans whatsoever. And you bring up MLB, it's a good point I forgot to bring up, Dave, is the fact that MLB is even talking about, extending the season out and then playing playoff games and World Series games in a neutral site.
Right.
Because if Minnesota made the playoffs, you're not playing baseball at Target Field in November.
No.
Could.
You could, but
neutral site like it's probably a safe bet. The season hasn't even started yet, so I don't want to speculate on Major League Baseball futures. But it might be safe to assume that, say, Miami, for example, or Tampa Bay will not end up in the World Series, and if they don't, that could technically be a neutral site for teams to play at.
I mean, and we have to think about this from MLS's point of view too. I mean, MLS, do they really want northern teams playing in November and December on their home fields?
Well, let's put it this way: like the Allianz Field is that stadium is more or less built. I mean, they could play year-round soccer there.
They could.
The biggest difficulties would be snowfalls and removing that snow. But
and also technically, Chicago could now play year-round because in Soldier Field they have the heated turf.
They do, yeah.
Look at the Revolution. They're up in Boston where they're playing in Gillette Stadium. Wide open.
Yep.
Well, I guess as far as the elements are concerned, we're Minnesota and Minnesota United. They're probably in the worst position as far as climate is concerned. I mean, Chicago is a little bit milder, but
what about Vancouver? I mean, you got Vancouver. Seattle can close their stadium up. Toronto, yeah. I mean, you have stadiums. I don't know if they have heating capabilities. You're not talking about heating the field, though. You're talking about how cold it gets and the weather conditions. So MLS will have to come up with something that said, are we going to play neutral site games at the end of the season? Are we going to play in our actual stadiums? there's a lot of things to work out here, depending on when they start.
Yeah, I have heard another report that I don't think this is. I think this is just kind of speculation that's going around it. But I have heard a report that the MLS was considering playing the rest of the season at 3 designated sites around the country.
Yep,
and just having all the teams play there.
And that's another thing too. You could do that.
I think that's a little bit more realistic because then it just takes, the travel out of the equation. And I think they're calling these potential games like studio games, where they play behind closed doors at neutral sites. And I mean, I think we're talking about let's get going, let's start again. I think that's probably the most realistic option.
Well, then you take all the local governments out of the case too. All you need is 3 local governments to say, go for it. Like Florida has done for UFC and WWE and all the other shit. All they have to say is, yeah, we're cool with that. So you don't have to get Minnesota's Governor Timmy to say, the dial, I don't know, So I think MLS will come out with something here in the next couple of weeks. But it's just funny to see all these other leagues saying, we're going to do this. Here's rumors. Talking to people at MLS is like nothing. I mean, we have seen absolutely nothing from them.
Yep. Silence.
Dead silence.
No, I mean, yeah, like April 17th was their last official statement. Now they've had just recently here this week, they've had conversations, but it's very, like Connor, mentioned, they're a bit vague. They haven't laid out a plan.
No.
It's nice to see the teams that are back to training, individually. It's quite a procedure. I actually watched a video on MLS.com about how they're doing that, where they divide the field into 4 quadrants, and then they have like stations where they get their temperature checked, and then they allow 1 player on at a time, and then the next. But it's a step, and they're going to keep making these steps. And I think at least we can be a bit optimistic with that regard. We're not completely shut down. They're moving in the right direction. But it'll be interesting.
Again, we're getting to the point where people are getting stir crazy. They want to see some sports. Even Timmy said in his last news conference, I want to see sports played. I want to see things happening. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But the issues, of course, are you have 50 different governors and governments doing 50 different things. And sports leagues have to go along with whatever those governors say,
right?
So we'll see what happens. That'll be a good time because we did post this on Twitter and Facebook. We have a little giveaway. We have $50 to the lab.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. Which would have been a lot.
Pints.
Think about this, guys. If True North Elite and the people are still going there before the games, I mean, that would have been a big thing right now. You can still get beer from there. But Connor has a little, what do you call it, a little quiz. He's got the $50 gift card right there.
$50 gift card right here, yep.
Little quiz. Connor's going to go into it right now.
Yeah, so basically what we've got here, we've got the $50 gift card right here. And we're gonna put out a little trivia question for you here for all our listeners here. It's just one question, and just post on our Twitter page. What is it, like 40? Did we decide 48 hours?
48 hours,
right?
So we should probably do DMs, right? Because
you could do DMs.
Because otherwise, people could just repeat it.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
DMs. Yeah, DM us.
DMs. Okay, yeah. So DM the Loonacy podcast on Twitter, and with the right answer to our trivia question, and you'll have 48 hours from when this is posted to submit your right answer. A winner will be chosen at random to send the gift card to. And did I miss anything? I don't.
We will, and then we will announce the winner on our Twitter page.
Yes.
So we will announce that person. We will give you some props. So there you go. So
and
Connor,
maybe when all of this gets back, we'll invite them out to be a participant in the
participant, and we'll buy you. Oh, here's another thing. Crazy idea, guys. When this thing gets all done, you get a $50 gift card, but we'll also invite you to a podcast, and we'll buy you your beers during that podcast.
We'll set a limit to that, of course.
Well, like
Right.
2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But so this is a big deal, right?
That's
Yeah.
a big deal. Mhm.
It's our first ever giveaway. Oh, did we lose Stevens?
He's gone.
We just
No, you didn't lose me.
we
Oh,
lost
okay.
his image.
Yeah, this is exciting. And let's just bring it up. Like, am I the only person in this group here that has not been to the lab?
I
have not.
Okay, because
I was
it's only
planning on, but it never worked out.
Yeah, I think obviously we were going to go there eventually,
Yeah.
but it's just
Opening
a
day.
light rail. It's just, what is it? 3 light rail stops from Allianz.
Yeah.
If
Something
you're
like
going
that.
west.
Yeah. It's right off of 280 and University over there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So here's the trivia question, everybody. Who in Minnesota United's MLS history, who was the first player to get both a goal and an assist in the same game?
Ooh.
Very good.
I'll say that again for our listeners here. In Minnesota United's MLS history, who was the first player to get a goal and an assist in the same game? So
A Minnesota United player.
Minnesota United player, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So DM us your answers. We will, and once we post this podcast onto Spotify or wherever you want to listen to, you'll have 48 hours to DM us your answers, and then we will choose a winner at random, and you'll be getting this baby right here.
Yeah, and no cheating, no using the internet to look up an answer or anything. Just that is a great question, because I feel like I've been following the game so closely, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of the answer. I mean, I have a few guesses, but I do not know the answer for sure off the top of my head. So
I had to look it up, actually. I didn't know the answer either.
Okay. I'd just be curious I don't want to spoil it. Well, we won't spoil it. It'll just be interesting to know, like, not that we have to say, but they have to say, but when this occurred. Did it occur in the 3rd match, the 8th match? Did it happen in last year? I don't.
Connor, can you text us the answer?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the answer.
Yeah, I want to know what that is.
I have some ideas, but
I think I know who it is, but I am probably wrong.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, thanks, Connor, for not only supplying that gift card lab and coming up with that great trivia question. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, geez.
It's who I thought it was.
It is not Demidov.
It was one of the 2.
Well, Tony, spoiler alert. Like, let's not rule out.
It is not Demidov. Damn it.
It was one of the 2 people that I thought it might be. But
at least that will eliminate all of the listeners that just wanted to listen to the podcast until we announce the giveaway and then stop listening. So
right.
If you guys hear the hint, you guys put Demidov in there. It is not Demidov. Sorry.
That's our only hint.
You shit
it is
shit out of luck,
Demidov.
boys and girls. Shit out of luck.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of Minnesota United. Oh wait, actually, he's not. Should we bring that up real quick right now?
He was on my Mount Rushmore.
The Mount Rushmore, yeah. So extra time did decide it. By the way, they did do Minnesota's in the last couple weeks.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I know we had talked about it on our last podcast. Who we thought personally should be on that Mount Rushmore, and who was it that actually? I mean, it was. I went on MLS.com and looked at this, but was it what group did this?
So they picked who Extra Time picked. You mean?
Yeah.
Extra time. That's what I was looking for. Extra time picked. Yeah, I can tell you for.
So they picked. For Minnesota, they picked Darwin Quintero, Christian Ramirez, Miguel Ibarra, and Iko Para.
Yep.
Which seems pretty fair, unless you're David Sterling, I guess. But
I don't even remember who I picked. Who did
I think we were all on this.
You picked Demidov for one of them.
You did pick Demidov.
You went with Demidov, and you had actually the biggest problem with Miguel Ibarra, who was Connor's pick, and that had a good reason, because he had Ibarra had the most games played for Minnesota United. I think that was the stat that kind of put him on there, and then Darwin Quintero was kind of the
first superstar.
Yeah. The first DP that we got.
Yeah. I mean,
I fully support their decision.
Yeah.
Well, you had to go with Ramirez.
I think it's pandering to the masses, but
of course it is.
It is interesting. I do like how, I mean, we agreed when we were talking about this during our last podcast. I mean, we all agreed that, really, to be fair, in the short history of MLS, as far as Minnesota United is concerned, they really should have had a player from the 2019 season. That was part of the huge success. And I think, was it Tony or Connor that threw out, so one of us threw out Vito Minone.
That
was Sterling, I thought.
Yeah. But then he went into his Demidov rant. But anyway, bottom line is I think it was fair that they at least chose one player from the 2019 season that played a huge role in the success that the team had last year. So that was a good pick, somebody on the back line, and played very well. And he was an all-star last year, wasn't he? So
yes. By the way, they didn't even give Vito Minone a shout on that podcast. So
what the hell?
That was kind of weird.
All he did was win goalkeeper of the year. I mean,
right?
Best goalkeeper in team history.
He literally put us in the seed that we were in, 4th seed.
That's right.
Saved that one PK against Dallas, right?
Against Dallas.
Ultimately, I mean, put us up another notch.
Right. Yeah.
That's great that you bring up that game against Dallas, because I've been watching a few of the classic rematches on Fox Sports 1 that they've been put up, and I think it was just a couple weeks ago they replayed that Dallas match, and I watched that in its entirety, even though you could catch it all in the last 10 minutes of the broadcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun to watch again, though. It really was. And I mean, going back and what we were talking about last year is there's no doubt about it. I'm going to miss Vito. I really am. I mean, confident in Sean Miller, and I'm glad that they have the back line relatively intact, but Vito is going to be missed here for sure.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I miss him already. So contest out of the way. Connor, do you have history back?
I do. I couldn't finish the entire calendar yet, but I did manage to get the last couple weeks. So
I was going to say a couple of weeks is plenty. I was going to say there'd be a lot of time that we've missed since our last actual match. So
yep. So let's read off some here. Let's go back to, you know what? I'm going to go back to the 24th, because that's kind of that's a big day in Minnesota soccer history, because that was the day, April 24th was the day of the first ever Minnesota Kicks match. And it was at San Jose Earthquakes, and unfortunately we lost it 4-2. That was the day soccer came to Minnesota.
What year was that?
1976.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't remember that, but that explains that.
Let's move forward to. Oh, you know what? There's something else that happened on the 24th, 1977. The Kicks lost at Vancouver Whitecaps 1-0.
It's funny that the Earthquakes and the Whitecaps still have their names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From back in the 70s.
The Earthquakes, of course, were originally, kind of a afterthought after they moved.
Yeah.
And then restarted. Yeah.
I'm still pissed that Cleveland isn't the Steamers. I'm still pissed about that.
And St. Louis is.
Actually,
I've got a couple new names to belt out at you guys this one. So we're going to move forward to April 25th. 1981, the Kicks lost at Vancouver Whitecaps 1-0. 1986, the Strikers lose game 1 of the semifinal playoff series at the Cleveland Force, 5-2. And then, here we go. So before I read out this next one, I want to give a shout out to Chris Lidholm. He helped me get a lot of the Thunder stats. Because I couldn't find a lot of Thunder stats online. So Chris Lidholm helped me out a lot with that. So thank you, Chris. 1998, April 25th, the Thunder lose at the California Jaguars 2-1.
Let's go back here. California, do they have Jaguars in California?
I think they play in the soccer field.
Yeah, I mean, California's kind of wide-ranging climate, so I feel like they might. I just couldn't tell you where exactly they would.
I don't think Jaguars are technically north of Mexico, are they?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Even the
Weird.
Well, there's
Jaguars.
there's Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida. I know that.
there's not.
Well, there has to be.
Aren't.
There's a
only enough
football
to fill up
team.
about half the stadium.
I mean, we can maybe get into an argument about what mountain lions are called, but I'm pretty sure that Florida has a version of the mountain lion, but I don't think it's called a jaguar, is it?
No.
No. I had to laugh a little bit for this is completely off the subject here, but for the record, I actually watched the first episode of Tiger King just 2 days ago. So,
Oh shit.
yeah, so we're talking about big cats. My eyebrows kind of raised a little bit.
No.
Yeah, we could get into soccer team names from the 70s or 80s all day long, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Can I want to say something about the Strikers. I mean, I think I've mentioned on the podcast before that the Strikers came to my elementary school, so that's when I got into soccer back in second grade. But Tino Lettieri was the goalie, and Tino Lettieri is now the son-in-law of Loonacy. And everybody knows who Loonacy is.
Yeah.
General manager, played for the North Stars.
Yeah.
He's big in this town. So Tino is his son-in-law, and I think they have a kid who plays hockey. So it's this whole lineage of things going on with Tino Lettieri, Loonacy, and this whole big thing. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's all you guys would like to know.
Yeah.
So since, we're at home and I have access to the internet quite quickly, there is no jaguar in Florida. The mountain lion version of the lion in Florida is the panther. So that's even weirder because isn't it Carolina Panthers?
Carolina has the Panthers, yeah.
Well, Florida Panthers are the NHL team.
Yeah, Florida.
And the Panther zone apparently is in southern Florida, though it does reach all the way north into Arkansas.
I heard in
that's a long way.
I heard in Florida there's a lot of cougars and saber-tooths.
Saber-tooths.
Actually interesting. I introduced my daughter to the Flintstones. Just a couple weeks ago.
Good times.
I was not interested.
What?
I thought it was. I mean, I was
whoa.
I'm like living my childhood all over again.
Give her the Jetsons because that's more futuristic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
They got the robot and the flying cars and everything and shit like that. Yeah. Connor, continue. I'm sorry, we went up. Connor,
no, that's all right. So last one for April 25th, 2015, United drew against the San Antonio Scorpions 2-2. And this was still back when they were in the NASL. And I think that was still fairly early. Yeah, that was pretty early into their season. All right, moving on to April 26th, 1985. Strikers lose Game 2 of the quarterfinal playoffs at, wait for it, Las Vegas Americans, 6-4. Series tied now at 1-1.
Again, Las Vegas Americans.
I feel like Americans can be found everywhere. But
you could have done like Las Vegas, like
strippers,
slots or sluts, stripper. I don't know.
High rollers.
High rollers.
High rollers.
Yeah, it's Americans is just not a good game.
It's actually just kind of weird.
It's funny, and I think Dave will know this. I don't know if Connor's seen this movie. David, I've seen the movie. Any Given Sunday, Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
So the Minnesota team is called the Minnesota Americans.
Yes.
Because Minnesota Vikings, Minnesota Americans. Well, yeah, because they took the NFL teams and made them into like secondary teams. So the Miami Dolphins, Miami Sharks, but the Minnesota team is the Minnesota Americans.
For people who haven't seen that movie, first of all, I think you should see that movie.
Oh yes.
But it didn't get reviewed critically very well, I don't think. No. And I think I'm not sure why, because I really love that movie. I think the biggest knock on it was because of it had that its premise was that it was another football league competing with the NFL, and not only competing, but doing very well. And I think just people couldn't get behind that, because otherwise I think it was a really good movie. It, from the player standpoint, coaches, owners, doctors. I thought it was great.
And I think it really showed what teams were like. I totally believe that teams did the things that they do in any given Sunday.
Yeah,
those players do it. The doctors do it. I totally believe that.
Yep.
Plus Al Pacino's in that movie. Come on.
All right. Yeah, I'll put on the list of movies to watch. Then
it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Long. I think it's like 3 hours. Yeah.
It is close to 3. Oh, Connor, you haven't seen that movie? Oh, you're so low.
I have not seen that movie.
But like I said, I think the only reason it didn't get critically reviewed well is because of the fact that it had this premise where not only was it not the NFL, it was competing with the NFL, and just I think that people just couldn't get behind that. But if you can just forget that for a moment, I think it's a really good movie.
All right, awesome.
I think it covers all sports in that way, like Tony was talking about the relationship with the coaches, owners, players. It's good.
And again, it's an Oliver Stone movie. He's actually in the movie as a broadcaster. So
okay,
Oliver Stone.
Nice.
The only other thing I will say is you do see some naked men, and that's.
I've seen Monty Python. I think we're okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they included. I don't know why it was part of the movie when they included some of these guys. But I'm like, Oliver Stone, I guess, has his own deal. But
I think it was Cameron Diaz's idea. She just wanted to be in that. That's what you're referring to, I'm assuming, Tony.
Yeah.
Maybe they found these guys at the Japanese festival you talked about a few.
Right.
They could have. Yeah, it's the Japanese festival.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course. All right.
So I have just cracked a second beer, guys.
I have 2.
Me 3.
This is the Axe Dragger from Beaver Island in St. Cloud.
Beaver Island, yeah.
Yep, and I've been to that brewery too. It's a nice kind of it's a lot like Lupulin in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been to Lupulin, it's really cool.
Oh, we've been to Lupulin.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, side note, St. Cloud, Stearns County has some of the most coronavirus people up there because of their meatpacking plant.
Yeah.
Well,
we're not
now wait a minute.
Politics of meatpacking here.
Lupulin is in Big Lake. We're not all the way up to St. Cloud.
Beaver Island's in St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Oh, Beaver Island.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Connor.
All right. So, here we go. 1987, April 26th, Strikers lose against the Kansas City Comets, 4-3. 2011, the NSC Minnesota Stars lose at Puerto Rico Islanders, 3-1.
Worst name in sports.
Which one?
The NSC Stars.
The NSC Stars.
I was going to say Puerto Rico.
NSC just drives me nuts.
I was going to say Puerto Rico Islanders because, you're on an island. Can we not think of anything else like sugar canes or?
You're like the John Madden of soccer names.
So what
was
the
rum runners? I don't know.
I actually really liked I don't know why, but maybe it was because I was starting to really get into local soccer at that time, at least, on the surface. But I really liked the name. I got into the name Stars. I'm not sure why, but
fine.
Was the NSC was that just National Sports Center?
NSC was National Sports Center.
That just drove me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because weren't they owned by the people who owned the?
I think they were owned by the NASL at the time. Before Bill McGuire bought them.
I mean, there's some weird. I mean, before the United came about, there's some weird history involved in soccer and Blaine. I mean, ownerships and things of that nature that just went like a roller coaster type. You go on Wikipedia and look it up because it's flipping nuts.
Yeah, it's the team that nobody wanted.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. I credit that to. I think it was Jeff Reuter that said that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was. Yeah.
All right. Moving forward to 2014, United wins against FC Edmonton. Which, by the way, I think that's the Flyover Cup from way back in the day. They had a rivalry name for it, the Flyover Cup.
Because no one cares about anything in between the two states.
Pretty much.
And technically no one cares about Minnesota either, so,
They think Minnesota's Canada, so.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Igloos. We live in igloos.
Yeah. We do.
All right, moving on to April 27th, 1986. The Strikers win Game 2 of semifinal playoffs against the Cleveland Force, 6-2, and they tie the series at 1-1. And then 2007, the Thunder lose against the Atlanta Silverbacks, 3-1.
Oh, Silverbacks.
Yep.
Mm.
2013, United wins at the Atlanta Silverbacks, 3-2.
Hold on a second. Are the Silverbacks still around?
No.
I don't think
They're
so.
done. They're done?
They tried to come back, and then Atlanta United happened.
Okay, all right.
I would like to say 2007 was actually the very first season that I paid attention to Minnesota soccer.
Wow.
That was the first season that I really started going to Thunder games.
All right. There was one. Oh, there it is. 2010, Stars. The Stars lose against the Rochester Rhinos, 3-0.
Again,
And then
Rhinos. Come on.
Yep. Well, the Rhinos have been around for a while. Actually, they were the Rochester Raging Rhinos back when the Thunder played them.
Are there Rhinos in Rochester? No.
Nope.
Nope.
2012, Stars draw at Atlanta Silverbacks. Silverbacks. I said Silverbacks.
Yes, you did.
3-3.
That's
Close enough.
alcohol and
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I haven't eaten that much today either.
Join the club.
2018, United win against the Houston Dynamo, 2-1.
Whoop, whoop.
And then we're already on the 28th, right? Yeah, 28th.
Mhm.
So the 28th, last year, United get the first ever win at Allianz Field against DC United.
I think were we all there? I think we were all there.
I was there. Yeah.
I was there.
I think I was there.
Yeah.
I
David,
feel
I think
like
we were
I
there.
was not. I feel like
I think we were there.
Like, were we?
Oh, John, we were
No.
sitting in your seats?
I don't remember.
We must have been.
I mean, I would have been in my seat, but
Yeah. Pretty sure we were there. I was there.
And Angelo Rodriguez kind of half volleyed it in there.
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't remember if I was in my seats or not, actually.
Maybe I was in your seats by myself. I don't know. I was there.
Let's see. And it was the 28th of March
28th
last
of
year.
April.
28th of April. Let's see.
Is he checking his calendar?
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at my calendar because I feel like maybe. Yeah, I could have been there. Gosh, why don't I? It's not.
I think Dave. I think we were there. I think we were sitting in David's seats. He probably was. He was playing the Wonderwall with Johnny.
I can't remember if that's the game I was there or not, because I wasn't. I was typically in my seats, but
It might have been a. Well, you know, I think I'm sure I was at that game.
All right.
Although there were a lot of games last year I sung Wonderwall at, so I don't know.
You know what?
That's true.
DC United and Wayne Rooney. You know what? I was not there. I think I was in New Zealand. That's why I'm having such a time with this one. I think I was
bad
not
choice.
there.
Bad choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what that would have been more of a memory in my mind, and yeah, that's the reason. You know, it was exciting to start out the season with the opener against NYCFC, but yeah, I was not there for the first win, which obviously I was hoping it could have been there for the opener, but did not happen.
NYCFC, yeah.
Yeah.
You're pretty close in that one.
Mhm.
All right, moving on to April 29th, 1978. The Kicks win at the Chicago Sting, 1-0. 1979, the Kicks win against the Atlanta Chiefs, 4-1.
The Chiefs.
I didn't know the
playoff
Chiefs were in
parade.
Atlanta.
Sure, yeah.
Terrible names.
Oh my God, you're gonna love this one. 1998, the Thunder lose at the Orange County Zodiac, 2-1.
Oh well, now hold on. There's historical reference behind this. The Zodiac Killer, Orange County.
Was that in California?
Yes.
Oh,
It was?
Zodiac Killer. Yes, that was Orange County. Yes, I believe.
That would be
It's-
a crazy way to name
It's San Francisco. San Francisco's in Orange County, right?
No, San Francisco
No.
in
It's like L.A.
Hold on a second. Let me look up Zodiac Killer.
Orange County is
County's
south
San
of LA.
Diego-ish
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
It's not San
Zodiac.
Diego, but it's
It's the county that's just south of LA County.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so San Fernando Valley, I want to say, might be the county, but that would be up north in San Francisco.
That's
I got a
right.
feeling that's what it was named after, though, because
Or
back
San
California.
Fernando.
Yeah, Zodiacs. I bet you $5.
Fun fact: Orange County is where I'm originally from. Actually,
What?
I was born in Orange County.
What?
Yeah,
You're
San
from the OC?
I'm from the OC, man.
So that whole
I'm an
show,
OG from the OC.
that show on Fox was about your upbringing?
Of course. Would you think anything else?
My God.
All right, moving on. 2017, United lose against the San Jose Earthquakes 1-0. I was at that game too. That was a big disappointer because San Jose wasn't that good. Well, no, San Jose. That was the year before they had that horrible season, I think.
San Jose was just the arch nemesis of Minnesota United, at least prior to last year.
Yeah.
Because they had all sorts of troubles. I think maybe we finally got that demon off our backs last year.
Oh, yeah, we did for sure. And we beat them this year, 5-2. One of the two games we actually did play.
That's true.
April 30th, 1977. The Kicks lose at the Las Vegas Quicksilvers 1-0.
Hold on a second. Whoa. So they're named the Quicksilvers now?
Yep, 1977. Yes.
Lord.
I mean, at least that's there's silver in that, isn't there?
Silver, yes.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take
move
that.
really fast. 1987, April 30th. Strikers lose at home against the Baltimore Blast 3-0. And then 2011, Stars draw against the Carolina Railhawks 1-1.
Do we know what a rail hawk is?
I have no
Hawk.
idea. It's a hawk that skateboards.
Well, that's the easy answer, but what kind of hawk? We know it's a hawk. It's a real hawk. But what kind of hawk? No, I'm just kidding there.
Before we go any further, guys, I've moved on to number 2 from Omni. It is called Garage Karate.
Well,
Garage Karate.
Now, do you guys know what that reference is?
Is it the karate from Friends or what?
No, it's from Step Brothers.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sure.
Which I'm too bad I'm not wearing my Step Brothers shirt today. I'm wearing my Matt Foley shirt today.
Matt Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in your van down by the river?
I could do some impressions of that, but I will not do it on this podcast right now. And we're back out live. I'll do it, but I used to be a big Matt Foley fan. Speaking of Matt Foley Stevens, I bought a shirt from the Chivery, thechive.com, that you'll enjoy. I told Nels about this. It is a car ramrod shirt.
oh, really?
Oh, yes.
What's that?
Ramrod. Yeah.
Ramrod. Car ramrod.
That's a good Super Troopers reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
So-
Andy,
I don't think you got, well, David and Connor, you guys don't know this, but for years and years and years, we did a thing as a Flip Cup tournament at Brothers in Minneapolis. A friend of mine put it together, and we had to have a team for your Flip Cup, and we called ourselves Ramrod.
Huh.
Yeah. And then one year, we actually all got shirts with all the Super Trooper guys on it. And
oh yeah, we wore that for many years with those
we did.
shirts.
Yeah. And this is supposed to, and guys, it's so crazy. This is supposed to be the last year of the Flip Cup tournament. They were closing it down after, I think it's 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And we had played from year 1 through year, I think 10 we had played. Then we closed ourselves down. Yep, there I am right there.
Oh wow.
Yep. There we all are with our mustaches and everything. Yeah, nice. Look at that mustache I had. Fantastic. We had played, and this is going to be their last year, and it was going to happen on Johnny's bachelor party day.
Right. That's right.
So I mentioned to my friend who did it, I said, well, I'll stop by after the Twins game to see you. I'm not going to play, but I'll come in and pay my $25. It's for breast cancer awareness. But that's not happening because of coronavirus. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll do another one next year. But it was called We'll Drink for Boobs. I mean, it's a good cause, breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
So we played. We never won anything. I don't think we ever made it out of the second round, did we, Dave?
Oh, you're wrong. We had at least 1 year where we made it to the semifinal. I think it was the year that we had Brendan join us.
Okay,
the semifinals was second round.
Semifinals, yeah, semifinals of the final round. Oh, and just a correction: a rail hawk is not actually a hawk. It's a small lap dog. Sorry.
Oh.
A small lap dog.
It can't possibly be.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They have the mascot all wrong. Terrible.
All right. Let's move on to May. May 1st, 1976. The Kicks lose at the San Antonio Thunder 2-1.
Still our name.
And then 1985, Strikers win Game 4 of the quarterfinal playoffs 4-1, and they win that series 3-1 to move to semifinals. And then 1999, the Thunder won their season opener at the Rochester Raging Rhinos 1-0. And 2010, the Stars lose at home against the Austin Aztecs 2-1. Are there Aztecs in Austin? I don't know.
No, you'd have to go a bit further south, I think, for that. But
Yeah.
Maybe they came up that far north. We don't know.
Yeah.
it's got a nice sound to it, but it works.
All right, moving on to May 2nd. 1979, Kicks win against the Seattle Sounders 2-1.
Ooh, nice.
Or 1979. Did I say 1997? 1979, that's what it was. 1986, Strikers win Game 3 of the semifinal playoffs against the Cleveland Force 5-4, and they take a 2-1 series lead with that. 1987, Strikers lose at the San Diego Strikers. Wait, Strikers? No, it's the Sockers. I'm sorry. It's the Sockers.
Weird.
Again,
I remember that one.
Again, the Sockers. Give me a fucking break. Come on.
5-4. That was the score. 1998, Thunder win at New Orleans Storm 2-1.
See, why not call New Orleans the Hurricanes?
Right.
Storm.
Well, this was 1998 before Katrina hit.
I suppose.
Hurricane is a storm.
Yeah. Legit. I mean, come on.
And then 1998, the Thunder lost a shootout at the Toronto Lynx after playing to a 0-0 draw.
Like LYNX?
Yep.
I suppose. Yeah, I guess they could be in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have them here in Minnesota. So
All.
yeah, I don't either.
Huh.
I'm ready. Oh, we got a picture of Dave going to his refrigerator. That's nice.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
The best thing about
he's grabbing another beer.
Having a beer.
Yeah.
Is it Minnesota beer? Dave is Minnesota.
Is that a Minnesota beer?
Yes, beer, Dave? It is a Minnesota beer, and actually, I know you, Connor and Tony, showed yours, but I actually went with another kind of crushable, beautiful Saturday afternoon beer, which was Radiant Baby.
Oh, a kettle sour. Good one. I love that shit.
That is one that I've had before, and it's I just went with it because, again, another crushable. It's a sour that, I don't have sours all the time, but it's kind of, again, just a refreshing beer. So it's I love the color too. Like here it is in my glass. It's just got that nice pink finish. It looks good, and it is tart, tasty.
Speaking of Head Flyer,
Head Flyer is one of my favorite breweries. I love that one.
Head Flyer guys, they're one of the breweries that will deliver within 20 miles of their brewery.
Really?
So, Sterling, I think I told you this before. You can get them delivered to your house.
Yeah.
I can deliver to my work. It's within 20 miles.
That's right.
So I need to do that like next week, I think. Some Head Flyer shit up there. So Connor, we good on the history of Minnesota soccer now?
I still got another week, but we can cut it off right there if we want to. I can skip to today.
Oh, go to today.
Because we're okay. So today, 1976, the Kicks get their first ever win against the San Jose Earthquakes, 4-1.
Wow.
1981, Kicks win the shootout against the Tulsa Roughnecks after playing to a 0-0 draw.
So now that makes sense. Tulsa Roughnecks. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense.
Oklahoma.
That makes sense.
1986, the Strikers lose Game 1 of the championship series at San Diego Sockers, 7-2, and they go down 1-0 in the series. 1987, Strikers win Game 1 of quarterfinal playoffs at the Cleveland Force. 1999, Thunder win against the New Orleans Storm 2-0. 2015, United win against the Atlanta Silverbacks 1-0. And lastly, 2018, United lose at LAFC 2-0.
So,
yikes.
In history, we're not going to talk about this until next podcast. So let's talk about it now. What happened 1 year ago tomorrow?
May 10th.
In Loonacy podcast history and Minnesota United history.
Loonacy podcast history?
They coincide.
Was that the home opener?
No.
May.
It may have been a travel day.
Oh, we were in Chicago.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And what did we do tomorrow? A year from tomorrow.
We were at the Ladonna.
At 5 Rabbit.
Yeah, 5 Rabbit. Yeah, that's right.
That was when they played the Fire.
That was that was one of the shittiest soccer games I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, I was watching it from the Brew Hall in Allianz Field. That's one of the worst soccer games I've ever seen.
Connor, I will tell you this much. So Sterling was up in the supporters area, which is above us. Me and Dave and our friend Nels had front row seats, by the goal underneath there. A, the weather sucked ass.
Yes.
B, the team sucked ass.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And C, what's his nuts? Our former Calvo, he was involved in shit and playing like, oh, look at me, I'm better than what you think I was.
I was gonna say, didn't he? That was after he went to the Fire, right?
That's right.
It was his first game. Or second game.
It was it was so shitty. It was such a downer.
Yeah, and then we as supporters were held back for like half an hour because supposedly the Chicago Fire supporters were gonna, beat us up or something up.
Yep, that's right.
Okay,
it was shit.
Yeah, I'm having Facebook memories pop up.
I am too. Yeah, that's why I forgot. Yeah. Let's not talk about that anymore.
Can I talk about my new beer?
Yeah, you got new beer. Yeah, go ahead.
So I went with Lupulin.
Ooh.
Fruit Smack IPA.
Oh.
It is a strawberry raspberry IPA. It is fantastic.
Yes.
As pretty much everything Lupulin makes.
Yeah. Another brew we have to get back to. Again, those guys were great. They let us actually tour their back room area.
They're the first ones to let us tour. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then of course they've got their secondary space that they're opening up at some point. It's probably delayed a little bit, but they have their secondary space where they have concerts and things and all kinds of stuff going on. So
yeah.
Fantastic. Let's get out of sports, guys. Let's talk about some funny shit, shall we?
Sure. If we're making that transition, I think let's do one more soccer related story that we want to bring up, and just the whole kind of, as we get back into actually seeing matches played, and we will in Germany here in a week, and hopefully in MLS in a month. But they did basically come out, and I say they, I mean FIFA and the International Football Association Board. They've come out and have said that they're going to allow, at least as a start, 5 substitutions per match.
That's right.
And it still has to be made under 3 windows. You can't have 5 substitutions at 5 different times is what I mean. It has to occur during the same 3 windows.
Yep.
Plus halftime. So,
and
it's just, go ahead, Tom.
And they've said you don't have to use VAR if you don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
Every league doesn't have to if they want to.
Who's going to not pass up on, or who's going to pass up on that?
Why wouldn't you?
I would.
Yeah.
So what was the purpose of the 5 subs? Because quite honestly, I don't get it.
Well, they're doing it. I think their official statement kind of referenced like the players' welfare in mind. They don't know what's going to happen and how this is going to, the pandemic is going to affect certain things. But I think the players' welfare, number one, maybe lack of training getting back into these games. That could be a possibility. And then I think they're actually planning ahead, which is probably a smart move. If whether it's Europe or more even here in the U.S. or, northern climates, they might have to play games into, I guess it would be more for MLS, but if they're playing games into December in Minnesota, maybe those weather conditions aren't the normal weather conditions that these players are facing. So,
and they've had a long stoppage of time here. So getting back into shape, making sure that they're not injuring themselves, I suppose it's a good play for them.
That's the biggest part of it, I think. Just the lack of potentially the lack of training. And you've had in some cases in Europe and here, we're 2 games in MLS, but you have had, you ramped up to full game speed and then you've ramped all the way back down. And now you've got to come back. So I think just erring on the side of caution.
We'll see those new changes come into play when leagues start opening back up. I don't know. I haven't heard if Bundesliga is going to, the 5 sub thing, they're probably going to say yes. Yeah,
they would fall under that. Now it's up to the league to make that choice, and I haven't heard specifically about Bundesliga. But
so it'll be by league. I think the VAR thing, I think a lot of them will just say, screw it,
Tony, you're getting a little...
What, gray?
You clean it off now, but...
Well, I'm getting gray up here.
Faux mustache going on there.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm also getting very gray up here. Gray on the side here. Almost 41 years old, for fuck's sake.
Happens.
Look at my hair. It's getting gray. Oh, it's not getting gray. Sorry. It's still good.
It's getting long. Have you gone to an underground barber?
2001 emo kid.
I know I do. Yeah. No, I haven't got an underground barber because my salon has put out I told David this because his wife goes there. They put out a thing the other day saying they're planning on opening May 18th, and they have all these different things they're doing. They're not washing anybody's hair anymore like they used to. If you have to sit outside and wait for them to call you in, there's no waiting room. There's no free coffee, all that type of stuff. So, May 18th, I hope I can get back in and get some of this trimmed off because it's getting like I'm becoming a hippie here.
Where is this place? Because I badly need a haircut too.
Don't tell them. I might have to go back to it too.
It's in Brooklyn Park.
It's in Brooklyn Park. Okay.
It's called Taj.
Yep. They're a fantastic salon. They really are.
They are. I have my stylist Rika. I've had her for 10 years now, and even though I get shit from my wife because I spent a lot of money there, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I love her. She's great.
You guys aren't going to feel sorry for me, I know, because my hair really isn't that long.
That's not even bad.
You actually look like you're not losing hair.
Well, I know, but I'm losing plenty. I just have to bend over a little bit further. But what you guys don't understand is I'm so used to having it fairly, close cropped on the sides. Oh, yeah. When I can pull my hair out like that, it's just, I'm used to being very clean shaven on the sides at least. And so it just feels bushy. So I can't get sympathy from somebody like Tony, who's used to having his hair this long. Point is, I am not. I'm used to, the 1942 crew cut haircut. That's what I'm used to.
Yeah. I'm using a lot of pomade lately because it takes a lot to get this, because I'm usually pretty short on the sides too. Yeah. So I'm trying to have to
I'm doubling up. I mean, pomade and hairspray just to get this shit back.
Just blow it up like 1986.
I thought about doing that a couple times. I haven't had time to do it. One of these days at work, I'm just going to go blow it up.
Honestly, you're starting to get a little The Cure look going on.
I know.
I've
decided. I've also decided I'm not shaving until I get a haircut. So
there you go.
There's nothing. Everything's just
watch. Sooner or later, he's going to look more like Flock of Seagulls.
Right.
And what if this is one of those things that comes out of this pandemic? Is like Tony or myself or any of us that just decide, hey, you know what? Maybe I actually like my hair a little bit longer than normal.
Well, so, yeah. I mean,
who knows?
I mean, but I've been, again, personal note. I had shortish hair for a long time, and I started to grow it out about a year and a half ago, to a point. But now that point has been overtaken. I mean, long hair is one thing, but long hair is completely the other deal.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with, I mean, I don't even want to tell you when I wake up in the morning and have to deal with this shit. It's bad, man.
Yeah, Tony, give me another 6 weeks and maybe I'll look like you.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Before we get out of here, guys, let's get some funny stories in because we live in a world now where everything's on Zoom and everything is recorded. We have reporters recording from different spots without cameramen. We've got Zoom meetings happening everywhere. And I have 2 stories about that. So what do you guys want to hear first? You want to hear about the anchor who was caught doing naughty things, or the city official who was let go from his position because he did something bad?
Let's do the anchor.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a guy, I think he's out of Spain. News anchor allegedly caught cheating when scantily clad women is spotted during his at-home broadcast. So he's from Spain. A news anchor from Spain found himself in an awkward situation when his at-home broadcast included an unexpected guest. Last week, during Alfonso Merlot's Estado de Alarma broadcast, which he was having to do remotely due to the coronavirus, a partially dressed woman walked by behind him as he was seemingly unaware. Viewers noticed that the woman, who appeared to be wearing only a bra, was reportedly another journalist named Alexia Rivas, and not Marta Lopez, the woman that Merlos was known to be dating at the time. Several fans accused Merlos of cheating on Lopez, who starred on Big Brother. Merlos later addressed the incident on the Ana Rosa show and said that he had broken up with his famous girlfriend prior to the incident. If you think that my attitude has not been correct, blah, 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 he says he broke up with her. Then, of course, Rivas came out, the lady who was naked on his broadcast, came out later. I didn't get in a relationship. He told me he was single, she said, according to Metro UK. We've been seeing each other for 3 weeks. And, of course, however, his girlfriend alleged that she and Merlos had not broken up, but were simply in the midst of an argument. I have been mad at Alfonso for 4 days. He didn't want to do something that affected my family. I did it, and he got mad. We argued, she added. So this is a little bit of a he said, she said thing. But basically, he's doing a live broadcast for the news, and a woman comes out of the background, I think the bathroom, with only a bra on. That's not his girlfriend. And then things got crazy.
Sorry, I had to Google it.
I know. But seriously, guys, this is the world we now live in. I mean, it used to be you had a camera guy there and everything. Now it's like at home, and he's like, whatever. And she walks behind him. And I saw the video, and it's not good.
Yeah, he would have assumed that nothing was going to come into his background, and she wouldn't have walked across. But you just,
And she's looking on her phone, looking down. I mean, unaware.
Completely half naked. She's half naked. And my other thing, too, is she's only wearing a bra. She's not wearing any pants. I'm like, what the hell? Put some pants on. Pete's sakes. I mean, we've already had the guy. We have the guy. You guys know about this. The guy, I think it was in America, where he was on a Zoom thing. His Zoom video was too far out, so you could see his legs. He was wearing a nice shirt, but he was wearing only shorts.
Yeah.
Boxer shorts underneath. Oh
yeah.
I mean, these are things you have to think about now.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a matter of time before this started happening. I mean, because this is happening. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's recording from home, broadcasting from home, and it was just a matter of time before stuff like this was going to come out.
That's right. Right. So this guy got in a little trouble because of the whole coronavirus thing. We now have. Well, it's not even I classify it as a worse story because this guy seems like a jackass. What he did during this Zoom meeting is ridiculous. But a city official who he tossed a cat during a Zoom meeting, he resigned from his commission. He was a planning commissioner of Vallejo, California. He resigned for throwing his pet cat and apparently drinking a beer during a Zoom meeting between city officials that was made public.
Oh.
During the April 20th teleconference of the city's planning commission, Chris Platzer announced, "I'd like to introduce my cat," then picked up his pet before suddenly tossing the animal off screen.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have a cat. Tony, you do, but
I have a dog. Yeah.
They always land on their feet.
Yeah, I know, but
what do I mean?
And again, tossing any animal during a Zoom meeting that's publicly around, not the best thing to do, right?
Could be construed in a bad way.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is whoever decided they should fire this guy probably didn't realize that cats land on their feet.
I mean,
but
cats are pretty resilient.
But it's not only the cat tossing. It's also the Platzer was seen sipping from a green bottle during the meeting.
So?
After the conference ended, he could be heard making derogatory remarks.
Oh.
I'm going to call bullshit on you, you little bitches, according to the original commission meeting video released by Northern California City.
Oh.
And he said he resigned. He said, "I did not conduct myself in the Zoom meeting in a manner befitting of a planning commissioner and apologize for any harm I've inflicted. I serve at the pleasure of the council. No longer have the trust and backing. Extend my gratitude, blah, 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 blah." So pretty much this guy said, he was obviously, he could have been drinking, said some bad things, and he threw a cat.
Yeah, and for the record, I'm not advocating animal abuse. I'm just saying that maybe like I've seen it done. I don't own a cat, but I've seen it done. Like if you toss a cat, they do land on their feet. I'm not suggesting maybe this was done in such a manner that it was a violent way of throwing a cat or tossing a cat or whatever. But
I need more
playful way. Yeah, it's tough to.
But okay, so you're a public official though. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in a Zoom meeting that's public access, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So you want to say you don't want to bring your cat into it anyways. If the cat jumps up on you, you say, whatever. You say, "Here's my cat," and you throw it. Come on.
But he's a public official. We already know he's a douche.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute. I guess what we need,
Sterling,
like David said, we do need
Sterling.
more
We're not
context.
getting into that shit.
We need a little more context. Was the official wearing pants?
Well, I don't know if he was Porky Piggin or not, but
I mean,
and was it just beer, or are we talking like Coke laced beer?
Well, I'm thinking green bottle, so I'm thinking like
It's got to be
probably
Heineken.
some beer, Heineken or something.
Yeah, Heineken would be the most likely.
There's a Buddha beer that they have that's green bottle.
There's an Italian beer that's
Pierogi.
Pierogi's green bottle.
Yeah.
Could have been a bottle of Perrier.
Could have been.
Ooh.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But then, on top of that, you add comments after the meeting's over saying, "I'm gonna kick somebody's ass, little bitches." It's just
maybe they deserve.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But you're a public official, David. I mean, you have to be nice during these things.
Yeah, but if even if you are a douche, even if you get caught being a douche, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
You can be a douche behind closed doors all this time.
Of course you can.
If you get caught, then that's it.
If you're a douche behind closed doors, it's a he said or she said thing, right? Caught being a douche on Zoom, it's a you fucking said it. That's right. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Public record. There it is. So he was he resigned. Before we get out of here, guys, we want to talk about Earl Thomas at all?
Well, it's
yeah.
story. I hadn't heard about it.
Okay, so listeners to the podcast. I don't know if
Couple minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys listen. You guys watch NFL. I know Dave and I do, but he is a safety for the Baltimore Ravens. He was caught by his wife having a group orgy with his brother and a bunch of other women at an Airbnb. Basically, she broke into his Snapchat account.
Yeah, that's exactly how she found out about this orgy with his brother because she broke into his phone and Snapchat account. Yeah.
So wait, okay, so we already have two problems here. First problem is you're married and you are doing orgy things. Second problem is
not including
yeah. But second problem is we're all kind of on lockdown right now.
Yeah, he was
and
to make things clear, they weren't separated. During this time that the story you're referencing is Earl Thomas was quarantining or staying at home with his wife.
Yes, exactly.
Girlfriend, I guess. Was it girlfriend or wife? I'm sorry.
His
girlfriend,
wife.
I think. Was it his wife?
That was wife.
I thought it was girlfriend.
That was wife.
Wasn't it? Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll just say wag then.
Partner.
Partner. Whatever.
That's a soccer term, wag. Partner.
Wag, yes.
So yes,
they were staying at home together during this time.
We already have two issues here. Okay. So she finds out. She goes to this Airbnb. She brings a gun with her. She puts Earl Thomas to gunpoint and says, whatever. And the girl's up to gunpoint, whatever. And she goes to jail, right? There are stories that she was chasing Earl Thomas around and he was naked around a car. I don't know if that's true or not. But the funny thing that happens is after this whole thing occurs, people on Twitter are going, Earl, what the fuck are you doing, man? I mean, A, you cheated on your wife. B, we're kind of being in quarantine. And his response is, these things happen. Like, it's no big deal. And then his other response is, this isn't news. This is, why are you guys being involved in my personal life?
Well, I think the one thing that I kind of got a kick out of when I heard the story is like, he knew that TMZ was going to break this story. And I think it happened this week. He found out that TMZ was going to break the story, say, if we're talking here today. He was going to break the story tomorrow. So he goes on his, I think it was Instagram account, posts a video, and basically says, yeah, I just wanted to let you know about something that's going to drop tomorrow on TMZ, but it's none of your business. That's essentially what he said. So
it is what it is.
He got more viewers because of the fact that he basically teased the story that TMZ was going to drop.
So he's a smart guy. He knows how to market himself.
He got out in front of it.
Yeah.
I mean, but we have to understand here, guys. I mean, Earl Thomas's thing is blown up because it's crazy, but he's not the only pro athlete doing this type of stuff right now.
Sure, right.
I mean, they're all doing it. Not all of them. Like Zach Parise of the Wild is not doing it, but we already heard about Dak Prescott doing something similar, not a group orgy, but he had a party at his house.
Right, yeah.
When they were locked down. So, and we have, I think, going back to soccer, I think there's a Vancouver Whitecap player who is in quarantine for 14 days because he did break quarantine up there, and he's apologized because of what he did. I don't think he went to go see a side action or anything like that, but he went out of his house and went somewhere else.
Yeah, and in fact, go back to the Bundesliga. We have Salomon Kalou from Hertha Berlin, who he broke into the doctor's office where his teammates were getting tested.
Yeah.
And he made a joke, and then he made some flippant comments about how he was getting paid less. And
yeah. I mean, what amazes me about that whole situation, Sterling, is the fact that, remember when everything popped in the United States, it was Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz who they have video of him going, "Oh, coronavirus." He's touching all the microphones. And
Right, yeah.
then he comes up with coronavirus.
Right. Yeah.
So let's not do that shit again.
Right.
Let's not be that guy, and the guy in Germany does that shit. I mean, come on. But Earl Thomas, now after this whole situation, supposedly he got a gift of a 14-karat gold medallion from his wife for his birthday that was given to him the day that all this shit went down. So he's posting that on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever. Like, hey, this is for my wife. We're still good, whatever. The next day, him and his mistress, who was at the whole situation,
Right.
Applied for a temporary restraining order against Earl Thomas's wife.
I mean, but moral of the story is, if you're gonna join your brother in orgies against your partner's will, don't own firearms.
All right, so you guys, Dave doesn't have a brother. Sterling, you don't have a brother.
No.
Connor, do you have a brother?
No.
Nope.
I know
I've never been in an orgy with my brother.
I have a brother. Okay, I would never go into an orgy with my brother, ever.
It's a interesting.
It's just
revelation.
Why would you do that?
It's just the weird things. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think back of the orgies I've been in over the last month. But I mean, you don't want to. What you don't like. I'm not very high profile, so like I feel like I can keep them kind of on the down low. You don't want to, make any reference to orgies on social media. I mean, that's number one.
Well, you don't put on Snapchat, eh?
No.
Did the orgies include a Westie?
Oh,
Sorry.
no comment.
No comment on that one, huh?
I'm checking out.
No.
Checking out. Jesus
No,
Christ.
just I was kidding, of course, but
Of
it's
course you were.
but I think bottom line is people are kind of going a little, stir crazy, and I mean maybe would that have happened with bring it back to Earl Thomas. Would this have happened, if we weren't under the circumstances that we were?
I don't think so.
Solid point.
You don't know.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of pro athletes all over the world who are doing crazy shit because they're locked at home. We're in quarantine. Things are happening. They're going out of their way to do crazy stuff. I mean, this Earl Thomas thing, I don't think he does it if he's not quarantined. I mean, if he's not like locked down.
It's a valid point.
Years if he's not locked down.
Yeah, it's definitely a valid point because I mean, you think of the lifestyle that everybody has had to make sacrifices during this time, but I mean, we're not pro athletes. We don't live the kind of lifestyles that maybe they're used to living. Traveling across the country and going out and clubs and this and that, and where if they're kind of having to live the same lifestyle that we are now, maybe they go a little bit extra crazy.
Think about travel all over the world.
Well, yeah, I guess I do. Yeah. And I've been sitting in my living room for the last 2 months. So maybe I am going stir crazy. And maybe that justifies what I've done over the last 2 months. But
think about the Earl Thomas story. Just think about the Earl Thomas story for a second, guys. Professional football player. He can tell his wife that he's going to practices or something different.
Training, something
like that. In a lockdown situation, he can't do that. So when he says, well, I'm going to go out, she's like, what the fuck are you going out for? So she gets involved. So who knows if Earl Thomas hasn't done this before under the guise of, well, we have a team meeting or we have this going on. And it's probably going on everywhere.
Probably.
I mean, guys who normally be like, well, I have a team meeting and that's their whole thing for I'm going to go out and screw 5 women. They can't do that anymore. Earl Thomas tried. He got found out.
True.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world we live in, guys. Crazy world.
Crazier by the day.
Snapchat. Barely.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we've covered a lot of things today, boys. I mean, everything from soccer to sex. I mean, we're good to go.
And beer.
And beer.
And beer.
Yeah, we've covered everything.
Yeah.
So we should probably get the fuck out of here.
Probably.
And close this down. I do have some sponsors to talk about because we're doing a podcast right now. I want to say thanks to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, official scarf supplier to MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get custom scarves for your group or team at roughneckscarves.com. Tired of the same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique, completely custom kit for your youth club, Sunday league squad, adult, or even pro team? Icarus FC can help you create the kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your custom kit today at IcarusFC.com. I want to say thanks to everybody who's listening. For myself, Tony, for David, Dave, and Connor. We'll probably talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Will we be out at a brewery or will we be back at our homes? That's the question.
It's a good point.
Good question.
That is a good point.
Probably at homes.
Probably helps.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, guys.
We'll still have plenty of craft brews to bring to you, though.
That's right.